Okay, everybody. I know this looks a little bit different. I'm standing up, I'm not sitting in my chair. I just felt like changing it up a little bit. Anyway, this video is going to be about some gaming PCs that I would recommend buying. So in the past, I've made videos on gaming PCs that I would stay away from, gaming PC build guides, to play games like FortNite, whatever, popular games like that. And now I'm going to be giving you guys some PCs that I would recommend buying because they're going to perform very well for the price that they're being sold for. Now, I just want to make clear before I begin that nobody's paying me to make this video. I chose the gaming PCs on my own. However, this video is sponsored by the Usantech Ryzen 5 gaming PC. Actually, you guys can see my shirt right here. Don't be fooled. This shirt makes me look a little bit more buff than I actually am. I'm a toothpick. I have SpongeBob arms and legs. Typical gamer. So in this video, I have about 5 or 6 gaming PCs. Let's get right into them. But before that, let's just take a look at the Usantech Ryzen 5 gaming PC because this one is pretty good. All these computers will be linked down below as well. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the AMD Ryzen 5 gaming PC. So right off the bat, you see the price is $539, which is already in the budget side for a computer. Computers could be expensive, so $500, although still expensive, it's in the budget side for a computer, a gaming computer. If you're planning to make a purchase, make sure to use code NERDISHYT10 to get 10% off your purchase. So the specifications for this PC, it has a Ryzen 5 2400G quad-core, 8 threads, 8 gigs of DDR4 memory, a 512 gig NVMe SSD. This is what I like. You don't actually see NVMe SSDs or maybe even like a 120 SSD around this price point. You'll get a 1 terabyte hard drive and that's about it. So I'm really happy they include such a fast storage device like this SSD. It doesn't have dedicated graphics, but it does have the Radeon RX Vega 11 graphics integrated in the processor. Now normally this would be a red flag, but Ryzen CPUs have very good integrated graphics. Even the Ryzen 3 2200G has integrated graphics that would be equivalent to something like a GT 1030. So the Ryzen 5 2400G will perform better than that, probably around a 1050. So if you plan on playing games like FortNite, Apex Legends, GTA, you're going to be able to play those games, maybe not at the highest settings, but you're going to be able to play them. FortNite will run perfectly fine, even at high settings probably. CSGO, you can max out everything and get over 100 FPS probably. Overwatch, Rocket League, Dota, those games are going to be running perfectly fine. Even older games like Far Cry 3, Black Ops 1, 2, older games like that, you'll have no problem whatsoever running them on this computer. So the link to the computer will be in the description below. Check it out if you want, or maybe just if you want more information on it, but it's a pretty sweet deal. Alright, now I have a couple other computers in the Amazon website. So let's start with this one, $800, a little bit more expensive, but nothing too bad. I mean, if you're a really serious gamer who's interested in computers and stuff, $800 is going to be a very reasonable budget for you. At one point, you may start with a $400 computer like I did, but you're going to move your way up eventually. So what's interesting about this computer is that it has an i5 processor, 9400F. Now I looked up the F parts because that's new, I believe. And that just means that this CPU has no integrated graphics. Now normally that would be like a question mark, but in this case you have a dedicated graphics card, so you don't need integrated graphics on your CPU. You're not going to use them. I believe that's why they made this move, this type of processor. And on top of that, the normal i5 9400 would cost $250 around there with the integrated graphics. This one, the F model, is the same but without the integrated graphics, and it's $150. So that's $100 you save that you could use on a dedicated graphics card. I believe they did that with this computer. So you get an i5 9400F, a GTX 1660, Windows 10, 8 gigs of DDR4 memory, the Intel B360 chipset motherboard, a 120 gig SSD, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. For this price, and you also get some RGB components like the fans. It's from CyberPowePC, a keyboard and a mouse. They're cheap, but you still get them for free, so can't really complain there. For this price, I would say this is pretty good. You're going to be able to play GTA at pretty high settings with no problem. Fortnite, Apex Legends, you can max it out as much as you can. What other new games are on the market? Far Cry 5, you're going to be able to play that at very high settings probably. Maybe even max it out. You're going to have a good time playing with this computer. Let's just leave it at that. Next up, we have another $800 computer. This one's from iBuyPowerPC, or iBuyPower. It also has a 9400F i5 processor. Same chipset, 8 gigs of memory, 480 gig SSD. XP, Windows 10. It also has a 1660. This one has the TI version though. So the other one just had the normal one, and this has the TI version. It's very similar to the other one. You also have some RGB components here, a keyboard and a mouse. So you're going to be able to play the same type of games, maybe even at higher settings here because it has the TI version. So it's very similar to the previous computer, to this one. The main difference is the graphics card. The TI version is here and not on the other one. Oh, I know what they did. So on this one, you have a 480 gig SSD. So that's a bigger SSD. You only get a 120 gig here, but you also get a 1 terabyte hard drive. So you choose whatever you want. I would actually go for the 480 gig SSD because then you could add the hard drive later. Hard drives are not that expensive. You could add that later for mass storage. But in the meantime, you have this storage. As long as you don't download like 50 games as soon as you get it, you're gonna be fine. And it's fast. So the third computer is a little more budget friendly, almost half the price, $479. And the components are a little bit older, but sometimes you need to go with older components to save some money. So this one has an AMD FX 6300 processor, 3.5 gigahertz, an older chipset, 8 gigs of DDR3 memory, 1 terabyte hard drive, and an AMD Radeon R7 240 2 gigs graphics card. It also comes with a keyboard and a mouse. So if you're barely getting into gaming PCs, this is probably a computer you're going to end up with. You know, something similar to this. It's something that I ended up with, except that I didn't have a graphics card in mine. And this is not a bad computer. If you're starting up, you want to play with simple games at good settings, this is going to be the computer for you. It would be able to run console games, even GTA 5, but you're not going to be able to run it at the highest settings, maybe medium or a mixture between low and medium, but you're going to be able to play it. And on top of that, you could use the web, do homework, do all that sort of thing, and then upgrade the computer over time and make it a very good computer. That's the beauty of computers. So that's why I have this computer on the list. It may not be the best one, but it's priced decently. The components aren't all that bad, and there's room for upgrades. Next up, also $480. This one's a little bit different. So it has an AMD FX 6300, same processor, 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, Windows 10, but the Nvidia Geforce Gt 710 1 gig is a little bit of a downgrade compared to the other one. Actually, now that I see it, I think the other one would be a better option in general compared to this one. This one is not bad. And actually for the price, I would still recommend it. There's also room for upgrades, a lot of room for upgrades. So if you want to learn, if you want to get a PC to learn in or test, experiment, whatever you want to call it, this is a very good PC for you. And same thing applies. You could browse the web, do your homework, do all that sort of thing. Comes with a keyboard and mouse. You're going to be perfectly fine with this one. And now the final PC on the list, $485. That seems to be a very popular price point. So this one, it has newer components. Not the newest, but just newer. It has an AMD Ryzen 3 2200G processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 240 gig SSD, Windows 10. So you would notice that it has no like 1 terabyte hard drive or anything like that. It only comes with a 240 gig SSD, which I would actually recommend. Go with this instead of an actual mechanical hard drive. It's just faster. It has an Nvidia Geforce Gt 1030. I have tested this card before. It's not the best, but if you want to play basic games, want to get started on gaming on a PC, it's perfect for you. And with this processor, you're going to have a good time. From the computers that we checked out around the $480 price point, this is the best one. Why? Because it has the latest processor, AMD Ryzen 3 2200G, and it has a graphics card in the 10 series. They're not the newest ones, there are newer ones, but these are probably still more popular than the newest ones. I still have a GTX 1070 in my computer. I'm not going to upgrade anytime soon. So if you want a future-proof computer, this is the one to get. You could learn in it, you could play games, probably better than on the other computers. You get a free keyboard and mouse, RGB components, and it's a good looking system actually. Cables don't look all that bad. I mean you're probably going to make some modifications to it, so this is a very good computer. So those are the computers that I would recommend buying. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm also going to have more build guides and maybe even computer builds, like actual builds in the future. Tell me what you would like to see in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Check out USAN Tech, by the way. You might like what you see.